Hey, Austin, when are you gonna send me those DIs, bro?
God damn it.
I'll do it today, bro.
Good luck,
Bet.
dude. I have a gun.
I'll
Have
do
a
it
gun, bro.
today, brother. You don't have a gun.
You
I
do
do. I
not.
actually have two, baby.
You do not have a gun. Don't
I got
stop.
two right here, baby.
Stop it right now. Stop it right now. You do not have a
Right
gun.
now.
Do not tell these people you have a gun.
Dude, I'll get one. I'll come to Las Vegas and get one. You guys have a Republican governor.
Gun capital of the world, baby.
Okay. You guys don't give a I'm so glad that Sam Brown didn't win, bro. That guy should have
Oh my
lost
God.
just on the principle that he's just like horrible to look at. Like he
Oh
should
my God. That's
Like-
awful.
Is he not horrible to look at? Like
He's
he should be wearing a-
disfigured.
he should be wearing a
There's-
fucking mask. I
He's
would
burned.
Face is
be
gonna
walking
get
around like
a blicky
like-
for all the ops.
like fucking
For all the-
Bane from Batman.
Hey, wait. Anyone want to cheers me?
Are you voting for Joe Biden?
Was that Bane?
Yeah, that's how I would be if I was Sam Brown.
The attempt on my life has left me scarred.
Holy shit. Sam Brown is Palpatine confirmed.
The attempt on my life has left me scarred.
Fucking rip it, Tony. Rip it, baby. Let's go. I'm ready. I'm geeked up right now.
The attempt on my life has left me scarred.
Are we good to go?
You're ripping the intro, brother.
Oh yeah, that's right. All right, what up, everybody? Welcome to the Mathrock review. Today's episode is reviewing Fight Cloud's new album, Ritual Disaster. We're gonna be getting into it. Please send us your band for review. Comment below, like the video. Please do all those things to help support, and we'll get into the album review. So I believe Fight Cloud is from Richmond, Virginia. I
Yeah,
believe they are over a decade old. And they are blending like emo and like math rock kind of vibes. Like it's like kind of like, you know, atmospheric shoegazy mixed with like emo math rock, in my opinion. I don't know. You guys both listened to the album. What's your initial take?
In terms of like what they are in the math rock genre, or just like what I think
Yeah.
about the album.
What you think about like who they are as a band, or like what can you describe about them?
Kind of remind me of that band May. Do you know that band? MAE?
I don't know that.
I do not
Anyway,
recall.
they are a math rock band. They're kind of like Coheed and Cambria, math rocky. I'm not saying Fight Clouds like that, but they have the same stylistically sort of thing going on. I'd say like kind of post-rocky, like more atmospheric, but like also I guess sometimes like with some chug. It never gets
They
like
say-
heavy.
They cite their influences as like Palm and Minus the Bear and
I
Circus
could see
Survive.
that. Yeah, I can see all of those things.
I could see that. I kind of read it as like Floral Green era title fight, but a little mathier with like a twinge of like Delta Sleep in there. I don't know. Like Ferris said, it never really gets heavy, but there's like some definitely more aggressive instrumental parts, you know? A little bit
It's
of
like
wonkiness, but it's
moody.
mostly, yeah, it's very moody, but it's mostly like atmospheric and ethereal and like, you know, mostly pretty and weaving.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
for-
didn't really like think about. I didn't really like think about how I would categorize them.
I see them as like a math rock band, but one of those like experimental bands that's kind of doing like this own unique sort of rendition of like a bunch of different styles, you know. And they really do go pretty deep with the storytelling on the album. If you read it all lyrically, it's just like daily life, like ritual disasters of daily life, like highlighting that. I was like reading the review on Fecking Bahamas, and there's like struggles with like resolutions, and you know there's like a relatable tone in a lot of it. So there's like melancholy, you know, throughout, and it kind of contributes to like the emo twinge kind of, because it's like commonplace throughout the album, I feel.
Yeah, I got the lyrics pulled up right now. I was just gonna listen as we listen to it.
Yeah, fuck it.
Yeah, I also have not checked out the lyrics that much.
Oh, you know what this kind of reminds me of? A great big pile of leaves.
Oh,
The way it
interesting.
sounds.
Like very
Yeah.
roomy. Yeah, the drums are
Yeah.
like roomy and spacious. That's really
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah, because it's not
the
at all
vocals.
like a great big pile of leaves, but
Yeah.
the sound, like just
Has the same
sonically,
sound.
the sonic quality is very much.
Yeah.
And it's funny because A Great Big Pile of Leaves has that like sonic quality throughout all of their albums too. Like it's like persistent. That's like part of their sound. Is like that like interesting like reverb or room like kind of sound they have on all their. Maybe it's the room they
Yeah.
record in. I don't know.
It's not like atmospheric, but it has like a big space feel about it.
Yeah.
Like a hallway sound.
So I believe this was recorded at Go West Recording Studio, owned by guitarist Mitch Clem, which is also their guitarist.
Oh, cool. So it's like a home recording?
In-house, I believe. Well, I guess
he
I don't
recorded
know.
anyone
It
we
looks. I think Go West Recording is like a separate studio, like an actual studio.
Okay.
Because it has like, I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure it has like control in live rooms and stuff. I didn't look it up though. Go West Recording. Yeah, it's a full facility for sure.
Jamie, pull up Go West Recording so we can figure this shit out.
Carlos, pull that up.
Pull that shit up.
Put it on the screen.
What the
Carlos.
fuck are you doing? My mix sounds fucking horrible, Carlos.
Carlos, did Tony just have to Google something? Are you fucking kidding
Are
me?
you fucking kidding me? Should do everything myself. I really like this like layered guitar stuff happening with like the big post-rock build. There's a lot of like nuanced interplay happening between, you know, like the rhythm and melody between each part.
This is very Delta Sleepy right here.
Yeah, that's what I was saying too. I like the instrumentation in general. I feel like there's a good balance of things. Like it gets.
Oh, sorry, go for it.
No, you're good. It just gets real climactic and like heavy, but like not super distorted. You know, it's like a nice balance of things.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that
Right.
it was very Delta Sleep in that first track.
Ripper is a ripper.
But yeah, it just sounds really good. It sounds good live, like good live tracking, like bunch of people were standing in the same room tracking. Kind of has that feel.
Definitely.
It's also kind of sounds like you guys remember from Indian Lakes?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Kind of has
I
that.
just saw
Like,
from Indian Lakes.
oh, did you just go see them? So
They're
not their
at-
new stuff, but their like first couple of albums. Especially like the singer's voice. Like the singer's voice kind of has that like it's like the
Yeah,
same
I
kind of
can see what you
affect.
mean.
I feel like Fight Cloud has a really good sense of, or has a really good way of like conveying like this heartfelt kind of feeling, this heartfelt expression, in like the stylization of the vocals and the lyrical content themselves. But it just, I feel like it makes that like really evolving and also very relatable and also like how do you say not accessible but like approachable. Yeah, that's the word.
Yeah, it's like it's got emotional weight, but it's not like over dramatic or like, you know, I don't know.
And also
Be
not
too in your face
too
about it.
like candid as well with like
Yeah,
commonplace lyrics.
Kind of abstract.
Yeah.
Maybe even a little like ambivalent
Mhm.
at times.
Hmm.
I liked that build up in A Moment to Stay though.
And I really like
Middle section.
that in a band, that kind of like feeling of mystery, like I'm not really sure what's coming next by like this. Because with musicians, I feel like we tend to like think about what's coming next and anticipate that. And if we guess right, you know, it kind of like has this like internal gratification. But like then that stems into like the predictability of like what we're hearing and the arrangement and the structure. And I feel like Fight Cloud is a really good job of kind of like building up to something that doesn't lead to what you were thinking. And I like that, and it still maintains like that heartfelt feeling. You know, that's what I really like about them. Nice.
Subverts your expectations a little bit, but doesn't like
Yeah.
totally throw you for a loop.
Because I'm expecting things like this track in Outside of a Dream, track 3. I'm expecting things like the intro where it's like yelly and gritty and heavy, you know, and like that's kind of like what my instinct gut, that prediction factor of like the musician in me is like going towards for Fight Cloud. And then the twinkly sections hit in ways that subvert that, I think. Like it goes into really nice, heartfelt sections that like overall round out the song in a really nice way.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of nice contrast between sections for sure.
I really like these like bass heavy bands, you know what I mean? It feels like the bass like carries.
Is actually doing something. Yeah. We're like driving a melody and we're driving, you know, structure. It's really nice with the bass. I
think bass players should only play root notes. That's it.
Boo, get off the fucking stage. Carlos, get this guy out of here.
Carlos, kick this motherfucker off.
Carlos, you will do no such thing.
I think this is an organizer. I think this is an Earthquaker Devices organizer.
I really love this. It's almost like alarmist kind of pitch shifty, like atmospheric tremolo-y. I love that shit. I love that shit.
Alarmist.
And see, it subverts your expectations by going into this heartfelt melody with the pitch shifter. It's like, ooh, playing my heartstrings, you know?
Kind of more punchy and straightforward at the beginning of it, for sure. I feel like this song so far, outside of a dream, has given the most Palm vibes out of any track so far. I know we're only a couple tracks in, but...
Yeah, it's more noisy and gritty, totally. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, especially like in that like first 45 seconds.
Jam break. Ooh.
Oh,
that was a good ending. Yeah, that was a good one. That was what, track 3, Outside a Dream?
Yeah, now we're on Paw in Palm.
Really love the vocal melody in Paw and Palm. That big, like group vocal, multiple layers. It sounds like the same singer grouping his own vocals, but either way, it just sounds really, really, really good there. That big vocal melody in the chorus.
Excited to get to it.
Love the play with those like rhythmic like transitions into the next section. So nice.
Yeah, I like the lyrics for this track a lot. A lot.
The way they're delivered too is just very powerful, especially in this section, in the pre-chorus and chorus. Disaster. Yeah, that's so nice. I guess it's not really a group vocal. It's just really, really big. Has a lot of reverb.
I think he's doubled.
It's doubled, sure. Yeah. But that is just, wow, very powerful, very catchy chorus vocal melody there. Love that.
Yeah, I feel like you just get a really good sense of the room sound on this recording. I can kind of hear it in the snare.
It's very warm, very toasty.
Oh yeah, the sound of all that analog gear.
All quad cortex, bro. The drums are mic'd up through the quad cortex.
The drums are triggered, and then we run it through the neural DSP plugins,
and then we resample and reamp everything.
For that, with a mic that's hooked up to the Kemper, you know. So.
Oh fuck.
And then we blow into the iMac microphone as loud as possible.
This album was recorded on Audacity.
It's recorded on Audacity, played through a Bluetooth speaker, and recorded again with an iPhone. And
MIDI out.
Yeah. MIDI.
iPhone MIDI out.
The irate.
Okay, that song was great. Paw and Palm. That was
the song that mentions the title of the album. I think it's their flagship.
Yeah, it makes sense that's like their standout track for sure.
Absolutely.
I have one gripe so far. I feel like
I was just about to bring up
there's no fifth gear for the vocals. Like I do like the delivery of all the vocals, but I feel like at a certain point there needs to be like partly it's mixing. I feel like the vocals could come in and be like more like I don't know, they're so airy and like reverbed out and spacious. I feel like at a certain point they should focus in a little bit and be louder, and I think the delivery could be more aggressive at a couple of parts.
See, I was also going to say, I felt like the guitars don't have that like overdrive, like really punchy, like right when it goes into the chorus. I felt like we could have added some like width to the guitars and like added like an extra layer of like different like overdrive tone or something like that. And I felt like the production was lacking in those high energy moments. and it's like taking away from a lot. So yeah, I didn't really actually have the note about the vocals, but it does make sense that in that part, like it could be emphasized so much bigger with like harmonies or like these other ranges of melodies going on too.
For sure, yeah. It still sounds good. Like I think the production overall is good, and I'm no producer by any means, but like I feel like there's just a couple moments where they could stray from the formula they have, and like you said, it'd be really impactful. But it is what it is.
It is what it is, man.
Still good.
I'm on Nicholas Rage.
It's a good song title.
I feel like with a little bit added, crispness in that higher shelf, this section on Nicholas Rage with like the very soft drumming, and tom fills, like that could be a big part with that tremolo,
Agreed.
I do like how they build it though, compositionally. It's really nice with the delays.
Yeah, it's very, very rich and like textured, but like in a very, very, it's like eating a piece of chocolate, It's just like, comforting.
Beautiful texture.
I think I wish a lot of these, like, where he's using a lot of these effects, I wish it like swelled more. I wish like the effect sounds would like really start to take up a lot of room.
Like in terms of volume?
Not even necessarily volume, but just like sonic room. Like all that like extra like over the top stuff you're hearing right now, those like fade out things. I wish they would like
do like delay sends like into different channels and bloom and stuff.
Yeah, like really like bloom out.
Yeah.
I could see that.
So to what you're saying on like the production element on Nicholas Rage, I think that it could have had that like extra layer thing or extra multiple layers going on of like added effect sends and added delay sends and stuff like that. But it adds to the feeling that it's all like live in front of you. I think with just that like one effect going on, because it's like, or just that one chain happening.
Yeah, but I also feel like maybe live it would, just because it's like sort of hard to control some of those effects when you start building them like that. I feel like it would perhaps be like there would be a lot of just like this sonic like noise happening. I feel like live, or it would be actually kind of hard to just like even distinguish like what's going on.
I see.
Sometimes, but maybe, I don't know, I've never seen them live, so fuck you looking at Austin.
I have no argument either way. I don't know what I'm talking about, but I do like the effects that they're using. I like the like little shimmery, scratchy sounds. They got a little ear candy, I love that kind of shit. And you got
that's nice.
textures like that.
That's a really nice touch.
Just like you said, distinguishable. Yeah, it's icing on the cake for sure. Like sonically, it's very pleasing overall. I could see those effects having some kind of, like you said, like send to a delay pedal or something like that. But
or something where
the fact
like
that they're
it's
there
like
is still nice.
Like in the back, one guitar is like playing the same melody, but it's like eighth delay or quarter delay or something, and it's like auto panned left and right or something, and it's switching back, or like something
ping
more
pong kind of effect.
Yeah, like something more constructive, like on top of like what's like baseline. But yeah, I do really, really like the effects. So
I think they've made a lot of good choices. Up until this point, we're on certain things, right? Up until this point, I think they've made a lot of good choices in terms of effects and like cool breaks where the band kind of just takes a left turn real hard, and some cool compositional choices and some layering and stuff like that. But definitely some like production stuff. Well, the production's not bad, but like I feel like there's some missed opportunities.
There's things to be desired.
Yeah.
Now this song, Certain Things, sounds a lot like previous albums that I've heard of them. And this one I was like, okay, now we're like Fight Cloud comfort zone, I feel like.
Strong Delta Sleep feel for me.
Agreed.
On both it's like this kind of feels like Delta Sleep meets like Minus the Bear kind of feel.
Yeah, I can see that.
Because it's got that like prog rock with like the dissonance, and like but also ethereal, like nice like heart, like solemn melodies kind of,
Yeah.
That's Delta Sleep as like very like dark, solemn, like kind of like melodies. But I do, Delta Sleep has, I feel like, varied vocal like composition, and I feel like Fight Cloud could get a lot from that, you know, like varied like vocal approaches.
Definitely. Yeah, I feel like the singer is definitely good and competent, and like his voice is nice. I just
That
feel
sounds
like
great.
he could put some sternum into it in some spots, or like he could hit more of a whispery vibe, or yeah,
Also-
like you said, just vary the approach, even just a little bit.
I feel like the vocal melodies, the actual pitches that he's singing, are repeat a lot. Like they there's not a lot of variance in the way that he's approaching the phrases, and so I feel like that predictability factor, you know, as a musician, as somebody who's listening to math rock, it's starting to kick in where it's like, oh, I can kind of guess what comes next vocally.
Yeah, I can see what you mean. There's a predictability to it. I feel like that is just so endemic of the genre, though. You know, like this is not an outlier within math rock. I feel like this is the trend.
Yeah,
Or
because
this-
honestly, you have all the guitarists playing and singing, playing very difficult parts and singing, you know, trying to keep up. But
We got a heavy part right here.
yeah, this is the end of certain things is fucking killer. It's heavy. It's nice. Although I just wish there was like that extra, you know, overdrive punch, you know, in the guitars.
Some very vocal approach there. I like that.
Yeah, it's one of my
kind of-
favorite parts of the song at the very end with the vocals.
He needs to like. I feel like it just needs some like grit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, like, instead of
And soul, a little
Yeah.
bit of soul, you know.
little anger. Yeah.
I couldn't tell on that pass through, but I feel like that, and it needs to be doubles. His vocals need to be doubled right there. That's like a climactic vocal part.
It's often
Like-
yeah, pretty isolated.
Cut some of the verb out, like make it like punchy, you know?
And you could do from some harmonies. I don't know. It doesn't always have to be, you know, single.
Definitely could have.
Yeah. So
I mean, maybe they were going for like, we want this to sound
Like we're
pretty
performing
close to
it?
like,
yeah.
like how it's actually gonna sound,
That's
which is
kind
sometimes
of-
cool. But
That's kind of what it feels like. What the gist is.
I just want to say that I just hit the most professional off-screen cough of all time.
Off-screen blinker. I'm on
Wait,
my way to
isn't this-
Benjamin City.
isn't this certain things?
No, that was certain things. This is Treat Machine.
Oh, maybe they have the lyrics.
They
backwards
do.
on
Let's
there.
settle this.
Yeah, they have
Certain
the lyrics.
things, the
backwards.
lyrics are on Nicholas Rage, yeah.
Yeah.
on Bandcamp?
On
Yeah.
Bandcamp,
Oh
yeah.
shit!
Nicola- yeah,
Somebody fucked
yeah.
up. Somebody's getting
Hey
fucking
boys, it's
fired.
okay. Carlos,
Carlos,
this,
bro.
this really smells like you, buddy.
Carlos,
Carlos,
fix this
the
shit,
fuck
bro.
are you doing?
Holy shit. What do we pay you for?
The lyrics
Oh.
look like fucking shit. Carlos, fix it. My mix also
Oh.
sounds fucking horrible still.
I can't hear myself.
I can't hear anything, Carlos.
Fuck you, Carlos.
We finally hear those beautiful vocal harmonies on Treat Machine. We love to hear that. We need those louder, you know, in the mix, I feel like, too. Those
Low
vocal
key.
melodies. Yeah. Also,
Not a
these
fan
guitar
of this bass distortion.
I'm not a fan of the bass distortion, but I like the section and how it cuts it up. I feel like they could have gone more with it or less and then done the distortion on the guitars and then cut the distortion back.
Yeah.
Also, the fuzz on the guitars here in Treat Machine when you know guitars actually come in, like not as pleasant as some of their other guitar distortion tones. It's super fuzzed out, in my opinion.
I've got an enemies vibe right here.
A little bit, yeah. That like small section, yeah. Those like really powerful, punchy, like stopping and starting chords, like with the transitions, was a really nice cut up to the like repeated do 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 that same like melody throughout, like all of it with the bass. That sort of what is it called? Oh man.
Patient?
When they repeat, it's not pedal tone, but it's like when they repeat, is it pedal? Or they repeat
Like an
the
ostinato?
same- Yeah, ostinato. Yeah. It's like bass is kind of doing that like over and over.
Yeah. Also,
So
I
when
feel
they
like
when they cut it up with the brown, that stopping and starting is like really nice.
Yeah, it's a
That
good like
outro.
tension and release kind of thing.
Outro is like chef's kiss on it.
I also feel like it's been a case of ask and you shall receive as we listen to the album. Like we've been like, I want the vocals, there to be some variation in the approach vocally, and now we're getting it.
It's
now that
kind
we've,
of getting, yeah, it's kind of giving.
some
Yeah.
screamy stuff, some harmonies.
There's a lot of
instruct you to stop.
there's a lot of
Now
depth
fly.
in the album. I feel like it comes off like pretty accessible, and then there's like this like a bunch of layers that you kind of go through in all fronts, like musically, the lyrical content, then also structurally the arrangement and everything else, and the effects and all that. So
For sure.
yeah, Treat
What are we on?
Treat
Thornbird?
Machine was solid. Yeah, we're on Treat Machine.
Treat Machine
now.
was a treat.
Now, again, we have the beginning of Thornbird, that like really nice, beautiful, like almost crystallizer kind of granular synth, echo synth kind of thing going on. It's really, really nice.
It's crispy, man.
This song has the best bass tone, I think. Just super smooth, kind of like P bass sounding clean. I love that, like really nice fat low end with like a clean, smooth, like well-rounded top end in the bass. I love the intro on Thornbird really highlights that on bass. Just, man, listen to that bass shine. Although I don't like the attack, I don't like how he's picking. I would rather fingered bass. I'm a kind of a purist in that sense. So I feel like this doesn't need to be picked, whereas you can have a more aggressive part be picked and it not really matter.
I could see that. Give it a softer touch.
It would sound more smooth. Yeah, it'd sound more like, yeah, I don't know. But that's my only gripe.
A little less
really,
attack.
really nice bass section there. Yeah, exactly. A little less attack. Ooh, really love those dissonant like chords into the major sevenths and major sixes. Those are really nice. Like that. It kind of feels like the chorus. It's really nice. It's almost got a gritty, like a Picture of Her vibe.
That's a good comparison. A little drum fill, like little mini soli.
Okay. Already one of the most dynamic compositions we've listened to by far. Thornbird is hitting a lot of nails. Definitely the track that I would show another musician or another math rock person to get them into Fight Cloud. And you're really not expecting them to go soft there. Another subversion. I really like that. It almost felt like it died off in the middle of the phrase too. I love that. So it's very unconventional.
This band reminds me, when they do these kinds of sections, like these kind of more...
Wow, can we just appreciate
Spacious.
Yeah. Okay, go for it.
That was, so nice. I'm trying to remember what band they remind me of. Is it Balancing Composure or something like that? Like,
That's
I don't know.
good
It has
comparison.
right? Like, not
It has
not even quite like math
Balancing
rock adjacent. just-
Composure, like feeling like, because like Balancing Composure is like post rock and has that like really gritty, like punchy feel, like when it builds. I totally get that feeling in this.
You smelling what I'm stepping in over here?
Yeah, oh yeah. I smell what
Okay.
you're shitting up.
Ferris, are you eating the cereal that we're pouring or what, dude?
You drinking from
Dude,
this
I don't-
dog bowl?
Absolutely not. I'm not drinking from these dog bowls. These dogs? No way. No fucking way.
I got my dogs out right now.
My dogs are barking.
All four of them.
My dogs are bricked up, bro.
Holy shit, boys. All right, hey, we're basically 3/4 through here. Yeah.
Yeah, we're almost there.
Yeah.
Got 3 left.
About 12 minutes.
We're on How Will It Hold?
How will it hold?
Find out next time on the Math Rock Review.
It go on hold,
Guan
man.
hold. Guan hold?
Me think me go on hold ting.
Me think we go on hold in Babylon.
Ooh, I like this.
This sounds like snooze.
Oh, sure.
Does a snooze
Yeah.
sound to it.
Some of the heavier parts did too, actually. I'm with you.
I feel like snooze is a lot more aggressive in the heavier sections.
Oh yeah.
But like some of the slower snooze sections kind of like sound
Yeah.
like the more energetic Fight Cloud sections.
Yeah.
And we're into jank. That was the jank melody, bro.
I don't have the frame of reference.
Just the way he sang it.
Yeah.
I really like
It's nice
that.
for what it is. Yeah.
That's a good song, yeah.
Yeah. How Will It Hold is just a nice, like, reprieve from all the rest of what's going on the album. It just gives the listener, you know, a second to kind of reflect on the journey thus far, you know, and also, like, give like a solemn point, you know, and kind of like gives you as a listener the chance to kind of either like reflect critically on like the lyrics, or to kind of drift off into your own like sort of like daydream and kind of, you know, just get your mind off something that's like pulling you, you know, on the leash, you know, so to speak, through the album. So this song is super nice and welcome, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's a nice way to catch your breath after like pretty dense set of material up until then. You know, a dense little forest to walk through, and you find a nice little clearing to sit down on. And, yeah, clear your mind, catch your
It's a
breath.
nice little bao bun, you know, on a spring Japanese river.
It's a bite of it's a mouthful of ginger to cleanse your palate before your main dish comes, between the appetizer and the entree.
Me think we not gonna make it, man.
Me think.
Me not think me gonna make it, Babylon. Well said, guys. That was beautiful. You guys want to get together and write some haikus later?
No.
Big ups to Japanese people, man.
We not gonna make it. We think we not gonna make it.
We're not gonna make it. No.
Big ups to cherry blossoms.
Big ups to cherry blossoms. Alright, so that's
Sakura.
Me thinks we not gonna make it.
Oh no.
Hold on, I'm gonna write this one down.
We've devolved. All right, let's reel it back.
Ooh, okay, I'm good.
All right.
I'm good. I was never not good.
Next song is called Quarantune.
Quarantune.
Quarantune. So there was a bit of hiatus and some lineup changes in 2023 for Fight Cloud. Hiatus also stemming from COVID pandemic times. So hence the song title Quarantune, in my best guess, my best intuition.
That makes sense. A little nod to
One of the pieces that made it from that weird, dreary, derelict, transient time. Has a very mind foggy kind of feel to.
definitely Pigeon English
Me
on
too.
Duolingo as a group, and
Big things me not gonna.
Yeah, I'm gonna learn. I'm gonna lose my fucking streak if I don't fucking grind this out, guys.
I would take this on Duolingo. I would do it.
I would date the Jamaican class, man.
I'll probably fucking stupid. They probably do have this.
I would also do it in public, man.
There's no way. There's no way that they have this.
Oh,
I gotta do my exercises, man. I'm gonna lose my streak.
Hold on.
this part.
Okay, so
Just
hear
loves
me out
that
here.
progression and the
This,
rhythmic.
this chorus in Quarantune sounds like Enemy's newer album, Valuables, a lot. With like the vocal, like weird atmospheric vocal, kind of, you can't really hear it in the mix too well, but it's like very catchy.
Okay. I haven't listened to that song in a while, but
Valuables, the album by
or
Enemies.
that record, excuse me, in a while.
Yeah.
So gonna have to revisit because I like that a lot.
Let me do the
Yeah,
live
man.
comparison. Hold on.
Beyond the pun, man.
Carlos, pull up Enemies.
Make one, Delilah.
The whole Fight Cloud record sounds like the vocals are all recorded as if they're background vocals, or I mean that's how they're produced, not necessarily recorded.
There's a really nice instrumental break here on Quarantune towards the end. It's like really nice drumming, like rhythmic modulation. Really nice instrumental break before the last chorus.
I feel like that's one of the things they've done the best throughout this whole record is utilize metric modulation very tastefully. Like it feels very natural when it happens, but it does totally change the bounce and the pulse of the song, you know?
And I feel like really good metric and rhythmic modulation happens from being in the same room with each other.
Yeah. It's that eye contact, baby.
But it's also the riffing and like people overplaying like different sections that like it's like that idea. It's like, wait, go ahead and do that while I do this. And it's like, I think the chorus on Quarantine, the shining moment with the instrumental break. Although it did leave a little bit to be desired vocally on the chorus.
Agreed.
Even though
Agreed.
it was very, very, very strong melodically, I feel like we're still in the same range as the rest of the album, you know? And there's not really like any attempt to go outside of that. Although the approaches have varied. But the range is like kind of, you know, like a couple octaves, like a few octaves.
Yeah. No, it's for sure. I mean, I like respect it as a performer, like choosing the range that you are for sure comfortable with as a singer while you play complicated guitar. Like that, I get, it makes sense. And you're not writing like super simple guitar parts at all. So like, it's not like you're selling out and like not trying to expand your range vocally, but there are definitely some spots where like, just fuck it, dude, let it rip. Like, you can't pull it off live at first, you'll get there, you know?
Yeah,
I don't know.
totally.
Take the chance.
All right. It seems like this is the last one, right? In between?
Yeah, last and in between.
We can also judge this track on how well it is as a closer too. But I tend to see closers on mathrock albums be very the word I'm trying to find is like very extrapolated from all of the rest of the songs. It tends to be very abstract and experimental, you know, in my opinion. Like, I'm wondering, I'm kind of not getting
like
that
on this
from
song, we're gonna do the most. Like, we're gonna do everything we did on the album in 1 7-minute track with like every idea we could think of, basically. Is that what you're kind of saying?
I feel like not necessarily covering every single thing done, but it's like a very like different, almost like inversion of like something that happened like previously on the album. I don't really know where I'm going with the tangent, but it's like for bands that are doing like really, really abstract things, I feel like the closer is that like final point of like reflection on like what like those new kind of things you showed like the listener. And this slow section where they slow it down is really nice. Another form of rhythmic modulation to kind of simmer down. The lyrical reflection is definitely present in this last song in between. It's like, take me back, you know, bring me back to this place, you know, like back when all these things, like it just feels like it invokes a feeling of nostalgia and like reflection, you know. And also the instrumentation is an inversion of the exploration we heard on all of like the dynamic like tracks from 1 to 10. This feels like a very pocket like incorporation of like the journey thus far. And it's like we're doing very, you know, very little, but we're building on it. And it feels very core to what this album represents. Not doing too much though, like not doing any of the crazy stuff that the other songs kind of like dove into.
Yeah, it looks like they kind of take some lyrical ideas from previous track, from certain things, where they say taking back these broken wings. No one here has any use for these things. And on this song, it's so take me back. Take apart all these broken things.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
very similar lyrical phrasing as like earlier.
Yeah, it's like you said, kind of like the reflecting on what we've covered already almost.
I think this album is definitely standout among the Fight Cloud releases. I feel like very much with similar to the recent Delta Sleep album, it's very much an experimental journey, like a very journey-esque style of like songwriting. And I feel like this album is very approachable, yet very deeply layered when you finally like go through it all and listen to what he has to say lyrically, you know, content wise, and then also what the band provides, arrangement, and you know, like the subversion of those like arrangements and those tasty, like those really interesting drops into like really twinkly, or those really awesome like angular builds, or those like fat like start and stop chord like punches. And
Changing
here's
the
the really
tense.
big build that we're kind of expecting musically as we listen to this last track. Nice. And so it
That's a
doesn't
good track.
actually end with, you know, any sort of like fade out or anything. It's just punches and then that's it.
I like it, man. That's a good closer, I think.
Yeah, I think
It's powerful and mostly succinct, you know, it's
Mhm.
not over extrapolated too much. It's one of the longer tracks, but it's
Mhm.
actually, is it the longest? It's
they
the
could
longest
have
track, but it's
very
not like
easily just faded out that last section, but I feel like stopping it there kind of gives it like this like period at the end of the sentence.
some finality, yeah.
All right, so final thoughts on Ritual Disaster. I think there's a lot of balance on this album, and there's a lot of chaos too. And I feel like they're kind of playing with the fire a little bit, and there are songs that like round out that like burning, you know, fire that's kind of like being played with. So I feel like it doesn't go too off the rails, but it definitely explores a lot of like what Fight Cloud already does well, and kind of like takes all of that, and maybe it sometimes plays it a little safe, but I feel like overall it's a solid release, and I would rank it pretty highly among all of them. Although like I'm not super studied on the Fight Cloud discography, so I've listened to a lot of the album. I think I've listened to all of them like multiple times, but that I'm not, you know, a super fan or anything, but you know, I really do enjoy them, and I do think this album is like one of their better ones, if not, you know, the best so far.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good album. I agree a lot with what Tony said. I think something interesting that Tony said is like playing it safe sometimes, and I feel like that's how I would kind of describe this album. I don't really feel like, even though it's a good album, I don't really feel like it ever like really touches like some sort of territory, and not even just like math rock, but just like in some of like albums I really like, where it's just like, oh, this is a new. So like we're even talking about their influences, like Minus the Bear. Like Minus the Bear does things that like not a lot of other bands do. We also said Palm. Like Palm did a lot of things that like not a lot of other bands do, right? And I just don't feel like, I feel like I wanted more of that. This release, I haven't listened to a lot of their other stuff. I have heard them before, but I couldn't tell you what it was. But I feel like this release reminds me of a lot of different bands at times. It reminds me of like Snooze. It reminds me of Jank. It reminds me of Enemies. It reminds me of like, I don't know, just Rewind. I said a whole bunch of bands, but I never feel like it really distinguishes itself from any of those other bands. I feel like it just like feels like a mishmash of all these other bands, instead of being like, oh, I can tell that this band really likes this band, but they're like a different thing. So in that sense, it's definitely an album I'd listen to again. It's not an album that I think I would like listen to often or like put on often, but I do enjoy the melodies a lot.
I have a
go ahead.
question. How much do you think the vocal performance played into that like feeling of it not being
I was just about to say, I wish that I like the vocals. I wish there were parts where it just like, instead of like going up and like, like it was more, you know what I mean? Like full voice, like
projection,
more projection,
yeah.
more compression, you know, vocal distortion, whatever. Like it doesn't even have to be like screaming or anything, but just like, I feel like there are parts based off of the music where like this is a really like intense emotional moment, and I didn't really get that all the time. But like I said, I don't really think it's just the vocals. I think if they had like a crazy vocalist or something, like I can't think of anyone, but just like someone who had this like amazing like beautiful voice, I'd be like, oh, I'm gonna listen to this again because this guy's voice is crazy. But I think for me it's more of like it just never really touches outside the bounds of something. where I'm like, oh, that's super cool. I'm always like, oh, this kind of reminds me of Enemies. I'd rather just listen to Enemies.
And then whenever
You know what
the
I mean?
vocals did like start to do that, I felt like it was like kind of chained back by the production and how softly they put it into the mix.
Yeah.
So
I was going to save that for the ratings, but yeah, the production also. But yeah.
Austin, final thoughts?
Yeah, I feel similarly to you guys. I think playing it safe is a good way of putting it. It's a lot of like winning material for sure. I think instrumentally they take risks and stuff, but vocally there's moments where there's some variety in the approach, where they're screaming here and there, or there's harmonies here and there. But I definitely think they could have put more of that in there. And I think I agree with the point about kind of the production overall. Like, it sounds good and clear and stuff, but there's some moments where some risks could have been taken as well, in terms of like, hey, we're going to highlight the vocals. Like, we're going to bring them all the way to the front of the mix. So like compositionally, I like everything. I like the lyrics. I like the rhythms. I like the melodies, chord changes, all that stuff. Just some finishing touches, I think, that kind of like slightly dampen the sheen of the gem that is the record.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's not really something that they want to take in like a technical direction, where, you know, you need to be like more riffy or more like guitar solo-y. It's just more variance on like what you've done, but the things that you want to do, you know. It's like, I feel a lot of there's that feeling of playing it safe only because of sounding like previous releases. The songs like kind of give you that same vibe, you know. I feel like there's a desire to go somewhere new, but I feel like they're not really like hitting the target overall of like this new like achieved sound. And it just makes me hungry for what they're gonna do next, you know.
I feel like my problem with this band is that if someone asked me like, what is this band really good at in like the math rock sphere, I would be like, because I wouldn't even call it like twinkly math rock, because it's not really
It's
twinkly
not.
math rock.
It's more like Delta Sleep.
Yeah, but it's like not Delta Sleep.
Yeah, it's
you know
not at
what I
all.
mean?
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? So it's just like, they're not a tappy band, which is fine. It's just like, you know, what are you like really good at?
Very middle of the road in terms of like, we're not super technical, we're not super flashy, we're not leaning super hard into one styling per se, you know what I mean? We're not the heaviest band, we're not the twinkliest band, we're not the I see what you're saying.
Yeah. Yeah. I would almost say that they want to be like Delta Sleep, in that they're like a melody, like a vocal melody driven band. Because I mean, a lot of the album is very much like there's always sort of a vocal melody, even if it's like in the background. So I feel like if they want to do that, then the recording should sort of emphasize that in some way, or the approach to doing the vocals should emphasize that.
I absolutely
Agreed,
agree.
1000%.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense when you think about it like that, when like they're coming at it from the perspective of like wanting the vocals to be the main driver and main force. When you look at it through that lens, it does seem like, yeah, the guitars are just kind of, you know, playing chords and not really doing a whole lot of like variance within that or outside of that pocket that they have.
Yeah. Does anybody have a favorite song?
Definitely a Thornbird. That's mine.
Yeah, I was gonna say Thornbird too. I mean, my actual favorite song is How Will It Hold, but Thornbird for like How Will It Hold's like a song, but it's not really a song.
Yeah, How It Will Hold. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's either Thornbird or Paul.
It's like saying Ongoing Horrible is your favorite song off of the first album.
Yeah.
You know, it's like,
Yeah.
it's not really I get you know,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
get why it's your favorite, but you know,
Yeah.
yeah. But it
Which
definitely
one did you
has
say,
that
Austin?
appeal like that. Okay, go. What?
Paw and Palm, I think,
Okay.
is
Yeah, that
my dark
chorus
horse in the
melody
race.
was really good.
Yeah.
And the lyrics are really, really good.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's the first track where you start to get some vocal variety in terms of approach and production. So
Mhm. Yeah, I agree with you.
All right. Should we do
Um,
ratings?
Sure, yeah. I think the context within the Fight Cloud discography, this probably gets an 8. It's solid, it's super good, it's strong. There's more variants than what I've heard from previous Fight Cloud releases, which isn't saying a whole lot, but I think an 8 is like, I see middle of the road as like 7.5, maybe 7. I feel like 8 kind of gives them that like, yeah, you were trying here. Me personally, 7 probably, 8, you know?
Yeah, you were
Decent.
trying here.
I mean,
Alright.
we're trying to step outside of what was previously established,
Yeah.
is what I mean.
Yeah.
And then mathrock is 6, a little
Oh, okay.
too. You know, it's kind of maybe 7. You know, maybe.
Hey, give it a 6 if you want to give it a 6. Doesn't matter.
I'd say it is mathy. It's not crazy. I feel like it's not 7.5. It's probably like just under 7. I'm gonna say 7. Probably just under 7 on the mathrock degree.
Does that give you like 7.5 overall rating?
I did 2 7s and an 8.
Oh.
7.25 or 7 point. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I'd probably give it a 7.
7,
I
6,
feel
6.
like there's a lot of 7s in my language, and the way I'm coding my language kind of gives a 7 vibe.
It's very 7 coded. Yeah.
7
Thinks me
build.
not going to make it, mom.
Get your mouth.
Me thinks me go and give this thing 7, man.
Midaya, you know?
No idea what that means.
All right.
Alright, so I don't know enough about their discography to really give it a number, so I'm just not gonna do that. Mathrock, I'd probably give it the same thing that you did, a 7. It definitely has like a lot of those just like math rock sounds in it.
Yeah.
You know, so I would say that it's mathy. I don't think I would show it to anyone as like, oh, this is what math rock is, but so 7 there. Overall album, I think musically and compositionally I'd probably give it like a 7, but I think the production kind of holds it back. So I'm gonna go with like a 6. So for an overall 6.5.
0.5.
Okay, that's very honest. I don't know. I think I would give it. So in terms of its context within their discography, I think this is their best record. I was like looking over, kind of while we've been talking, looking over their discography, and I remember some of this stuff, especially the first 2 records, and in Augment and Simple Structures. And I think this record's a maturation for sure.
Yeah.
To parrot you guys, I don't think the record takes enough risks, and I think the production holds it back a little bit. So I don't know. In terms of mathiness, I think all the instruments hit most of the boxes. There's some tapping here. There's some odd times. There's some metric modulations. There's some breaks into just different vibes in general, kind of, really quickly. So I want to give it an 8 in that respect. Overall, just like vibe number, I want to give it a 7.5.
All right, so we got a 6.5, a 7, and a 7.5. I think it's a 7 on the official
7,
stamp.
yeah.
Yep.
All right. Well, that's it for us, folks.
You tried, buddy. You tried,
No,
buddy.
it's a good record. It's a good record. I just
No, it is a good record. Yeah, it is.
It's a decent record, yeah, and I wouldn't feel bad about the 7. Or I don't necessarily feel bad about giving the 7. I feel like there's a lot of things that were left kind of unplayed, unsaid in this album, left to be desired. So, but I am excited for what's to come. Like I said previously, I am excited about the next release, and if they kind of take those steps, sort of out of the snow and sort of get up to, where they want to be and, start snowboarding. Feel like they could, really have some momentum.
And also,
You said start snowboarding.
Yeah. What? It's just an analogy.
I just like that analogy. That was just good.
just gonna say, don't feel bad about the 7 because I think like most of the albums we've reviewed have been 7s or 8s.
Yeah. It's only like our personal insane love
Yeah.
like
I think we need to start being more cruel.
probably yeah probably
Like, bring the averages down.
give all these albums 5s.
Yeah. You start at 0. You have to.
I feel like IGN
points
over
as
here
you go.
padding all of our game review scores.
Yeah.
Chat, are we too nice? Are we too good a guys? Are we not being critical enough?
Carlos, give this album a 4.
Carlos determines the rating.
Yeah, 7's not a bad number. 7's like, this isn't my favorite album ever, but I like this album.
I think we
That's
we
like-
give Toe like an 8. So
Yeah.
Do you think you're better than Toe?
You think you're better than those?
You're better than
those
Toe?
Japanese salarymen?
I have them on vinyl. I don't have you on vinyl.
You think you go to the better konbinis?
The better.
You think your Sakurai blossoms are, better than
Yeah, you know,
Big on one.
big ups to Sakura, you know?
This has been Ritual Disaster by Fight Cloud. Thank you for sticking with us. Please be sure to comment the video, subscribe in the channel, like the do the thumbs up thing, and yeah, we love and appreciate your support, and we love you, Fight Cloud. You're cool. So
Give everyone a 7.
yeah, it is what it is.
Why do we even review? Just give everyone a 7.
This review could have been 10 seconds long. You'd be like, guys, what'd you think? 7.
Someone
7.
put
Cool,
in
we're
the
done.
comments like review at. I just like skip the end. All right, y'all.
Yeah, you guessed it, bitch. It's
Until
7.
next time on the Mathrock review. Catch y'all later.